In this episode, my son tries to catch a live seagull on the beach. Does he succeed or fail? Everybody wants the six pack. They want the millions of dollars. They want the portfolio. They want the time freedom and the life living on top of the mountain. But to get on the top of the mountain, you've got to do one thing. And what do all those things have in common? I break it down in this episode. It's short and sweet, to the point. I know you're going to get a lot of value out of it. I was at the beach yesterday and we're playing around in the sand. Kids are there, family's there, and I decide, what if we tried to catch a seagull? My kids are out in the water. I've got a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, their cousins are there. So I dig a hole. I dig a hole about 5 or 6 feet long, kind of shallow. And I go and I ask my son McCarthy, who's 10, I say, hey, do you want to catch a seagull? He's like, yes, that'd be awesome. So all the cousins gather around. He lays in this shallow grave and I lay this like beach blanket over him. And we bury his feet and we've got like some chips or crackers laid on top of the blanket and he's laying completely under the blanket, right? So the plan is, if a seagull comes and lands on his stomach, he can wrap the beach blanket around the seagull, catch the seagull. So we lay him down and the birds come. And the cousins are starting to yell at him and they're like, go, go, like as the birds swoop down to grab a cracker. And of course, it doesn't work because the birds are in the air and they fly off as soon as they see him move. Then I say, okay, nobody give him any instruction, let me talk. And I try to coach him when to go. And it still doesn't work. Finally, a bird lands on McCarthy. He flips up, tries to grab it, and the bird flutters out, still gets away. Now everybody's sort of getting bored. We're waiting around because every time we scare these birds, it takes longer and longer for these birds to come back. And McCarthy's, he gets frustrated and he's getting frustrated. And he's like, Dad, I was like, look, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I didn't want to upset him. It was supposed to be a fun day at the beach and it was turning into kind of a bit of a fiasco. And he's like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to catch the bird. And for whatever reason, he was very, very intent on catching this bird. And me wanting him to quit so that he wouldn't be crying and under stress and under duress, I had to step back and think, well, hold on a second. He really wants to persist in this and he really wants to catch this bird. So if he wants to do it, let him do it. So I said, hey, you can do it. Let's just take a break. Let's let the birds get acclimatized to the thing and we'll try it again. So he went over to the side. We laid the blanket out. We spread some chips on it. And sure enough, the birds started to come back. They got more comfortable because they're landing there and nothing is popping up trying to grab them. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, I said, okay, let's try it again. So McCarthy slides underneath the blanket. I walk over to my sister. She gives me some russet potato chips. I walk back over. I sprinkle them on top of him. And I said, listen, McCarthy, you know what to do. We're not going to say anything, but when you feel the bird on you, then you strike. Like, we can't tell you when a bird's swooping down because it's going to be too late anyways by the time you hear it and act. So it's on you. Just when you feel the bird and you think it's right, you go ahead and do it. And so we back up and McCarthy's laying there. And sure enough, the birds are coming closer and closer. One lands on him and he waits. He waits a little longer. And he told me later that under the blanket, he was thinking, I'm going to wait till he starts like pecking and eating. And so sure enough, the seagull starts to peck, 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 grab a chip. And he's getting comfortable. And all of a sudden, wham, McCarthy strikes. He flips the blanket up, wraps around the bird, successfully grabs this seagull, which is a feat. And he's like, I got it. He's so excited. He's so pumped. I go over there. I help him untangle the bird out of the blanket. He's holding the bird. This bird's like, was pretty vicious. This thing was like grabbing his fingers and trying to bite him, peck him. He's like, it doesn't hurt, it's fine, I'm fine. But he was actually really, really brave. And then my little daughter, who's 5, is like walking close to the bird. I'm like, all right, McCarthy, just throw the bird. Just let the bird go, let the bird go. So let the bird go. But all the cousins got a phenomenal time. It was a really cool experience. He felt like $1 million because he had succeeded. He caught the bird. And it got me thinking that that is a really good quality that McCarthy has, that he's already developing in his life, the ability to fail, right? Because when he failed, it felt terrible. His dad's watching, his mom's watching him, his grandparents are watching him, all his cousins are around him, and he's trying over and over and not getting this bird. And even his dad, who has pretty good influence over his life right now, was telling him to quit, was telling him to stop. I'm almost ashamed to say that, but I was like, don't worry about it, man. You don't have to do it. If it's upsetting you, like, chill. When he pushed through that, he regrouped, tried again, and this was probably his 7th or 8th attempt, and he got it. And it got me thinking. I was talking with my wife later on that day that I see so many people that are just not willing to stick with something. And I look at all the things that I've tried, and some of them have worked, some of them haven't worked, some of them I've quit on, and some of them I've stuck with. But I look at the vast majority of people, they can't stick to and commit to anything for any significant period of time. We got a program called the Deal Room. Deal Room helps people go from single family into multifamily. We've got loan sponsors, we've got capital raisers, we've got partners, we've got training. We're looking over your deals with you. We're coaching you on the next step. We're helping people close bigger deals that are a little harder to close than maybe single family. They're used to doing everything on their own. And what we find is people that don't generate success within a really short amount of time, 1, 2 months, maybe 3 months, all of a sudden, like, they stop showing up to the calls. They stop talking to brokers. They stop trying to generate lead flow. They get turned down by a few investors and they quit. Or they get close to closing a deal, it doesn't close, and then they give up and they stop trying because it's so painful and it's hard to fail. And yet they don't reap the rewards of the flip side. The people that I see that they've been in the deal room for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and then bam, they close a deal. And then they close another deal and another deal and another. It's like the floodgates open. They know how to do it. And it gets easier and easier and easier for them to do that. And they generate massive success in a very short period of time. But the beginning, it looked like they weren't making any progress at all. There's a statistic I read, and it's something like 1% of all podcasts, only 1% make it back or make it past 20 episodes. That means 99% of people that start a podcast, have an idea, they quit before they ever hit 20 episodes. I'm on episode, 152, and I still feel like I haven't gotten the success that I want to get with my podcast. I haven't gotten the traction that I want to get with my podcast. But I know it's going to get easier. I know that I'm going to get better. I know that it's going to keep progressing. I'm going to have more doors open to me. I'm going to get bigger and better opportunities, more listens, more downloads, and more people in my ecosphere if I continue along this path. And so even though I'm not necessarily seeing the results that I want to see, 2.5, 3 years into this project, I'm still there. I'm still showing up. And I'll tell you, my downloads are way more than they were when I first started. And I'm definitely getting better at doing this. And now we're on YouTube and we've got shorts and we've got clips and our social's getting better, and we're continuing to walk along this path and do this journey because I know that I'm going to improve, and I never know when the next big break is going to happen, when the next big opportunity is going to happen, but I'm not going to stop. And so just by making it past 20 episodes, I've already separated myself into the top 1% of all podcasters. Just by doing the work in and out consistently. I think about the debt fund. If you've followed me on socials, you see me raising $2 million for my debt fund, and we're at about $700,000 right now. And it's been a bit of a slog. And guys, I didn't talk about this on social. So if you're listening to this, I don't know that I will talk about this on my socials, but if you're listening to this, you're getting the inside scoop here. I had a guy who was this close, literally within hours of placing about $20 million with my debt fund, which would have been huge. Would have been a huge win, massive cash flow for him, massive cash flow for me as the capital raiser on that side, and it would have broken me into another level of raising money. And I failed. right? At the end of the day, he said no. He went with another debt fund. It was close, but that was the decision that he made, and that was hurt. That hurt. It was painful. And I'm kind of faced with, well, I've got this, little chunk of money, 700 grand raised. I could just like ride my coattails there and not worry about it, and I could focus on the next thing, or I could stay focused and I could stay committed, and I could see what I learned from this. I learned the kind of questions that this kind of ultra high net worth individual is going to ask, the way they think, what's important to them, what's not important to them. Things that are very important to a $100,000 investor were not important at all to a $20 million investor. What can I take away from this? How can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And you know what? I got kicked, but I'm down, but I'm not out, right? And I got back on the horse. I've got a couple meetings booked with a few more investors next week, and we'll see what happens, right? Because I'm going to persist in that. I think about multifamily. I bought a few trailers. I bought a few single family rentals. I tried for 2 years to close my first deal. Got said no to, didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to underwrite, but I kept trying. I kept making offers until something finally broke. But I hate to say this, but 2 years without results, like who's going to stick with something? But on the backside of that, was it worth it? Obviously, yes. It was amazingly worth it. My life is totally different. I have the lifestyle I want. I do what I want. I have my time back. I've got income coming in. I've got net worth. I've got freedom to hang out with my wife and kids, et cetera, et cetera. It's great. But what people don't talk about is that pain of persisting to get that first domino to fall. I think about fitness. For years, I would go to the gym, go to the YMCA, try to work out for a few weeks and then quit. 6 months later, I'd try it again. A year later, I'd try it again. Continuing to try, continuing to fail, continuing to quit. Till about 3.5 years ago, I decided I need more accountability. I'm going to hire a trainer. And for 3.5 years, I've been going to the gym 3 times a week. I've been, doing some cardio, doing some walking, doing some pickleball. And now, about 8-9 months ago, I finally got my body to kind of where I want it to be. Like I can see my abs again. I've got, a low body fat percentage. I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm fit, and I like it. But it was a journey of persistence and staying with it. There was, 2 years, really, I'm not seeing much results. Like, there was some results, very, very minuscule results, but not great. And all of a sudden, it kind of came together after a long, I say all of a sudden, it was a long process to get there. Think about drinking, In 2019, I decided I'm not going to drink for a year. Didn't really see any big benefits or big results immediately, but over the course of that year, I'd closed more deals than I'd ever closed in my life. I got more disciplined in my life. I saw the results reap from that by just being persistent and consistent and saying, well, you know what, I'm going to do this for X amount of time and I'm going to stick with it. There's a book I talk about a lot on the podcast. It's called The Slight Edge. The slight edge, if you think about the axis along the bottom, right? And there's your graph line, and it runs along that bottom line, and it's just minusculely moving up for a long, 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 long time until it starts to hockey stick up. And you've all heard that concept of hockey stick growth. It's true. That's how it works. That's how life works, is you persist and you try and you keep on going for a long time with little to no results. And that's what separates the ultra high achievers and the ultra successful from the rest of society, is how long can you endure that pain? How long can you stick with the grind? How long can you get feedback, adapt, have another iteration, try again, try something different, try something new, continuing to stay on that course until you figure out what works. The get rich quick schemes, the world is a very efficient place for the most part. If there's a really simple and easy way to make money, that opportunity has already been exploited and it isn't there anymore. And so anybody selling you that or telling you that is really just trying to get rich by taking money from you and putting it into their pocket to sell you this dream of something that isn't reality. And so when you recognize that and say, you know what, this is going to take longer than I think. This is maybe going to be harder than I think. It's going to take more effort, more capital, more resources, more brain power, more sleepless nights than I think it's going to, but it's going to work. It's going to happen. This is going to come around eventually and I will succeed and it's worth the effort. And no matter what it takes, I'm going to do that. When I talk to people that are wanting to join the deal room and they have that attitude of like, hey, whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it because this this life over here that I'm living now is so painful and I can't play that out for another 20 years. I don't want that outcome. And even if it takes me a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like it doesn't matter because that's the direction I'm going. Those are the ones that succeed and they succeed faster and more often than the ones that are like, all right, yeah, you know what, I'm going to try this out for 3 or 4 months and see how it goes. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, whatever. Like, it's not going to work out. Don't even start. Don't even start. Unless you're committed and you're willing to put in the pain and the time and the effort. And this may not be the best, marketing tactic, right? To telling you this stuff on a podcast. But I want to tell you the truth. I want to tell you how really awesome high performers think, how they act, and how they get things done. It's their ability to stay in the grind and stay persistent and stay consistent. Now, here's where the fun part happens. Because when you do hit that hockey stick piece, it does get easier. I say this from experience. I mean, like, deal flow starts to come to you. Brokers are calling you. Your network is ever expanding. People are reaching out to you. I have people reaching out to me now with deals, with lead flow, with money. They want to invest money with me. They want to connect other capital raisers to me. They want me to raise capital for their deals. Like, the opportunities continue to go on. Also, your credibility goes up. Every deal that you do, every accomplishment that you make, every podcast that you record, every weight that you lift, your credibility goes up. And then people are like, this is a guy that does what he says. This is a guy that's going to stick it out through thick and thin. This is a guy that's made it through some hard times. And when hard times come again, he's going to persist and grind through that. This is somebody that I feel safe doing a deal with or investing my money with or partnering with or whatever it is. If you're in good shape, you can't fake that, right? You walk into a room and you are physically fit. Like, people understand what it takes to get there. They know that you're not eating this and you're working out consistently and that you have discipline in your life. And it's just something that silently speaks for you. Same thing with the portfolio. Same thing with money in the bank. Same thing with your relationships and connections, even a long-term marriage. It shows commitment to, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And as you get those things and those stack up, the wins become easier and the wins become exponential. The fact that I even had the opportunity to get in front of a $20 million guy, that shows me that I'm on the right track. That shows me that I've been doing the right things for a long, long time and things are about to start to get easier for me. And so as I only have, $700,000 in the debt fund right now, that doesn't mean it couldn't be $1 million, couldn't be 2 million, couldn't be 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, right? Because I can exponentially scale. And the longer that I work on that problem, the easier it's going to become. We're closing on our second commercial deal in 2 weeks, right? This is a dental office. You may have heard me talk about that. And this is the second commercial deal I've done. So the first one was actually fairly easy to close because I had the multifamily portfolio behind me. The seller took me seriously. The bank took me seriously. The money was there for the down payment, and we got that thing closed. Now we're walking into the same situation with the dentist, leasing back his dental office to us. We negotiated a $500,000 seller carryback. The bank's giving us 1.35 or 1.33 million, and we're only having to bring about $70,000 now cash to closing to close that deal, which is going to be netting us about $30,000 a year in the good. And we only invested 70 grand. So phenomenal deal. But because of the years of experience and the muscle memory of doing multiple seller carryback deals, I knew what to say to that seller. I knew how to instill confidence in that seller so that he knew I was going to pay him back his 500 grand. And month by month by month, I'm going to keep that promise to him. And in year 5, I'm going to refinance that building and get him his $500,000 back. And he's going to be out of the deal completely. And we're going to own this deal at a great basis with no money down, which is our plan. And so that deal, honestly, I mean, knock on wood because it's not done yet, but it's been pretty smooth and pretty easy. I'm starting to ride that exponential curve where all of those years of hard work and doing the right things and making those relationships, making those connections, keeping, just keeping the promises that I make, it's starting to stack up and that exponential curve is coming. And I'm only in year 6 of commercial real estate, multifamily and commercial real estate. I'm excited about what the next 6 years are going to bring, what the next 10 years are going to bring, the next 20 years. I'm going to be doing this for 20, 30, 40 years, right? I'm 42 years old. I'm going to be doing this into my 70s. I know I am. I love it. And I'm starting to see where my future can go if I stay the course, stay persistent, and stay consistent. So that's my challenge to you is wherever you are in this journey, if you know you're working on the right problem and you know you're working on something that can change your life, stay the course, stick with it. If you are consistent and you do that over and over, you are going to separate yourself from 99% of the pack. We posted a little reel. My social media guy, Christian, found this reel with all these dots. It was like 100 dots. And it was something like 67% never even start. Another 30-something percent give up too easily. Another 3 or 4% stop when they hit the first problem. And your only competition is you and one other person that stick with it, that actually start, that keep on the path. And that's where people get lucky. Everybody wants that view on the top of the mountain, surveying their empire of everything they've built. But they don't want to start climbing that mountain. They look at this insurmountable mountain and they don't even want to take the first step, or they get halfway up the mountain and they're like, look at how much further I've got to go. This is too hard. I'm going back down to base camp. Or I'm just going to sit here halfway up. Everybody wants what you have when you get there, but they don't want the pain, the sleepless nights, the hard times, the pressure, the rejection, the failure, the dusting yourself off, getting back up and swinging again. But that is where the gold is, and that is how you unlock your life. Peace.